Out on America's highways, long before GPS screens and push-button everything, there was a simple kind of freedom riding underneath the big coaches of the day. Some folks remember the sound first, that deep Detroit rumble rolling across a cold morning. Others remember the feel of it, the way a good bus settled into the road and just carried you, mile after mile, like it had all the time in the world. These old machines may be retired now, but they're far from finished. In 2025, more people than ever are hunting for solid, dependable coaches to turn into rolling homes, the kind built with real steel, real craftsmanship, and enough storage to live out on the road. Today, we're counting down 10 buses worth collecting, the ones truly built for a second life. MCI MC9, 1978 to 1990. If you've spent any time around old coach yards, you already know why the MCI MC9 sits at the top of nearly every RV conversion list. Built from 1978 through 1990, it earned its reputation the hard way, with a steel and aluminum structure so tough that many operators joke you'd wear out before the bus ever did. These coaches took a beating on cross-country runs, winter roads, and hot desert routes, and somehow kept coming back for more. Under the rear hatch, most MC9s carried a Detroit 6V92TA, or the earlier 8V71. Two engines that any old-school mechanic in America can rebuild with basic tools and a strong cup of coffee. The bodywork is just as friendly. Flat panels, simple lines, no exotic curves or special molds. If you can cut and rivet aluminum, you can fix an MC9. Step inside and you'll see one of its biggest advantages, a long, perfectly flat floor that makes RV layout work almost effortless. Down below, the baggage bays are enormous, some of the largest you'll find on any classic coach, giving you room for tanks, batteries, and all the gear a rolling home needs. Parts are cheap, the secondary market is overflowing, and the bus nut community around the MC9 is the strongest in the hobby. And with good units still selling in the $5,000 to $15,000 range, it remains one of the smartest buys of 2025. MCI 102A3, 102C3. When the MCI 102A3 arrived in the late 80s, it quietly changed the shape of American coaches. This was the first true 102-inch wide body from MCI, and those extra 6 inches may not sound like much on paper, but anyone who's ever planned an RV layout knows they're worth their weight in gold. A wider aisle, a real bedroom, a proper kitchen run. It all fits just a little easier inside a 102A3. The later 102C3 took things a step further, offering the legendary Detroit Diesel Series 60 on many units. For RV use, that engine is a blessing. Smooth, efficient, and known for racking up 500,000 miles without much fuss. It's the kind of power plant you trust when you're 1,000 miles from home and the next town is still an hour down the interstate. Another reason these buses convert so well is their simplicity. The electrical system is clean and straightforward, making it easy to add solar, inverters, or lithium battery banks without fighting through layers of proprietary wiring. The window line sits just right for interior decor, letting natural light flow through a finished build. And beneath the floor, the baggage bays are deep and wide enough to hold a full off-grid setup. Water tanks, batteries, air systems, whatever your plans require. With solid coaches on the market today in the $10,000 to $22,000 range, the 102A3 and 102C3 stand as two of the best values for a 2025 RV conversion. MCI 102DL3, 1992 to 2004. If you ever wanted a coach with room to truly stretch out, the MCI 102DL3 is the one that finally delivers it. At 45 feet, it offers more interior space than any classic coach that came before it. A long, open canvas that lets you build a real living room, a full-size bedroom, and still have space left over for storage and utilities. For RV converters, that sheer square footage changes everything. Powering most DL3s is the pairing everyone wants, the Detroit Diesel Series 60 backed by the Allison B500. Together, they form one of the most reliable, efficient, and long-lasting drivetrains ever put in an American coach. Smooth on the highway, confident on grades, and easy on fuel, this combo is as close to ultimate RV power as you'll find. Ride quality is another reason the DL3 stands out. These buses glide across the interstate with a steadiness that surprises people who never drove a 45-footer before. And thanks to large tour fleets refreshing their equipment today, a wave of DL3s is hitting the used market, many of them in excellent condition, well-maintained, and ready for a second life. Inside the bays and behind the panels, the DL3 offers cleaner electrical and air system access than the older A-Series and C-Series coaches, making upgrades and repairs far less of a fight. It's no wonder that across Facebook bus conversion groups, the 102 DL3 has become the hottest conversion platform of the moment. A big, beautiful workhorse built for long roads and long years ahead. Prevost XL, 1985 to 2000. Among the old highway coaches still roaming around America, few carry the kind of quiet prestige that the Prevost XL does. Built from the mid-80s through 2000, it earned a reputation that rests on something simple and rare: a stainless steel body that practically refuses to rust. In a hobby where corrosion can make or break a project, the XL's durability is a gift straight from Quebec. Its long, straight lines give it a clean, retro look that fits perfectly with a classic luxury RV build, the kind that feels more like a vintage yacht than a bus. And unlike the Eagles of the same era, the Prevost frame doesn't flex or twist. It holds its shape, mile after mile, and that rigidity pays off when you're installing cabinetry, appliances, or a full off-grid system. Down below, the baggage bays are wide and impressively deep, offering all the space you'll ever need for tanks, batteries, inverters, or storage for long-haul living. That practicality, combined with long-term durability, is why the XL is considered one of the best investment-grade platforms in the coach world. Conversions on this chassis regularly sell in the $120,000 to $300,000 range. And yet, the surprising truth is this: you can still pick up a solid base coach for $10,000 to $25,000. For anyone building a long-term RV in 2025, the Prevost XL is one opportunity that shouldn't be overlooked. Prevost XL2, 1997 to 2005. When Prevost introduced the XL2 in the late 90s, it marked a quiet shift toward a more modern, refined kind of coach. The first thing most folks notice is the frameless window design. Clean, seamless, and far more contemporary than the squared-off look of earlier models. It gives the XL2 a smooth, upscale profile that fits perfectly with a high-end RV build. Beneath that polished exterior is a surprisingly friendly machine. The electrical system is streamlined and far less complicated than what you'll find on newer H3 models, making upgrades, repairs, and solar installations easier for the do-it-yourself crowd. Behind the wheel, the XL-2 delivers a light, confident steering feel, a welcome trait for anyone stepping up from a school bus or a shorter coach. Fuel economy improves over the stainless XL thanks to subtle aerodynamic changes. And inside, the full 102-inch width gives you a generous floor plan to work with. Wide hallways, real counters, and plenty of room for a comfortable bedroom. It's no accident that the country's most prestigious converter shops, Marathon, Liberty, Featherlight, Millennium, all use the XL2 as one of their preferred platforms. When your customers are spending $1 million or more on a coach, you start with something proven, stable, and built to last. For anyone planning a luxury RV in 2025, the Prevost XL2 stands as one of the finest foundations money can buy. Prevost H3-45, 1993 to 2007. Among all the coaches rolling across North America, none make a first impression quite like the Prevost H3-45. Standing taller than any other production coach of its era, it gives an RV builder something priceless, a remarkably spacious interior height. Once you step inside, the ceiling feels open and generous, almost residential, a world apart from most conversions built on older, lower-roof platforms. The advantages continue underneath. The H3-45 carries the largest baggage bays in the United States, deep and wide enough to hold full off-grid setups, HVAC units, battery banks, freshwater systems, or anything a long-haul traveler might need. Its tall, sweeping profile also makes it one of the most visually elegant coaches from a distance, a look that pairs beautifully with a luxury RV design. Mechanics appreciate the H3 for another reason: excellent service access. Panels open easily, components are positioned well, and the HVAC system is a powerhouse, built to cool or heat a full load of passengers in tough climates. A major benefit when turning the coach into a home. And right now the market is shifting in your favor. As tour fleets refresh their equipment, H3-45 prices are dropping sharply, making 2025 one of the best buying opportunities in years. For builders dreaming of a tall, spacious, luxury-grade RV, the H3-45 stands in a class of its own. Eagle Model 10. Ask any veteran driver or old-time bus enthusiast, and they'll tell you the same thing. The Eagle Model 10 wasn't just another coach, it was the best-looking bus America ever put on the highway. With its long, stainless beltline, rounded corners, and unmistakable stance, the Model 10 carried a style that blended American confidence with a touch of European grace. Even today, nothing else looks quite like it. What riders remember most, though, is the way it floated down the road. Eagle's famous torse-elastic air ride system gave these coaches an impossibly smooth feel, almost like gliding instead of driving. For an RV conversion, that gentle, drifting ride makes long trips quieter, calmer, and a whole lot easier on an aging back. The retro form, part American muscle, part European touring coach, fits beautifully with a vintage luxury RV build. Wood interiors, brass fixtures, leather seating, the Model 10 wears that style like it was born for it. But anyone shopping for one needs to keep a careful eye on the frame. Rust is the Model 10's only real weakness, a known issue that can turn a good project into an expensive one if overlooked. Find a solid, well-maintained example, though, and you're holding something special. A coach with true collector value, the kind sought out by artists, designers, and serious enthusiasts who want more than transportation. They want rolling art. Eagle Model 15. By the time Eagle introduced the Model 15, the company had refined nearly everything that made the earlier Model 10 so beloved. This was the more polished, more mature generation, the coach Eagle always wanted to build. It kept the trademark style, but the engineering underneath was sturdier, better sorted, and far less prone to the rust problems that haunted the older frames. For anyone considering an RV conversion, that alone makes the Model 15 a far more practical choice. From the outside, the Model 15 looks every bit the long, elegant touring coach it was designed to be. The proportions are perfect, tall enough to feel spacious, long enough for a full-time RV layout, and shaped with a quiet grace you just don't see in modern buses. Once you're behind the wheel, the coach shows its true personality. The ride quality sits at the very top of the entire bus world, smooth, stable, and almost hypnotic on long stretches of highway. Because production numbers were low, good Model 15s are genuinely hard to find, and that rarity gives them something most coaches never achieve: real collectible momentum. Prices for clean examples typically sit in the $25,000 to $40,000 range, and the best ones only move upward. For RV builders who want comfort, style, and long-term value wrapped into one machine, the Eagle Model 15 remains one of the finest platforms ever built. GM PD4906. Among the great American coaches of the 1960s, the GM PD4906 holds a special place that no other bus has ever quite matched. Built with a lightweight aluminum monocoque, it was far ahead of its time, giving operators a fuel-efficient coach long before efficiency became a talking point. For anyone planning an RV conversion, that lighter structure pays off in real miles, easier climbs, better mileage, and less strain over the long haul. Under the rear deck sits the heart of the experience, the Detroit Diesel 8V71. Out on an open road, that deep, rolling, two-stroke note becomes part of the journey itself, a warm, familiar soundtrack that many RV owners fall in love with. Step inside, and the first thing you'll notice is the big, generous windows, letting natural light pour in and giving a converted interior an open, welcoming feel. The styling is unmistakably classic. Nothing else on today's roads looks quite like a 4106, a shape that turns heads at campgrounds and brings smiles from drivers who remember riding these machines in their youth. And from a practical standpoint, the 4106 is as friendly as they come. Easy to repair, mechanically straightforward, and supported by an enormous parts supply that has kept them alive for decades. It's no surprise that this model remains one of the most sought-after classic RV platforms in America, cherished by collectors who want history, personality, and practicality all in one beautiful machine. GM PD4905 Buffalo. For many folks who grew up riding the highways in the 60s and 70s, the GM PD4905 Buffalo is the coach that left the deepest imprint. Longer and more commanding than the 4905, the Buffalo stretched out to a full 40 feet, giving RV builders the kind of interior space that makes all the difference. Enough room for a real bedroom, a proper living area, and still space left for cabinets, storage, and utilities. One of its calling cards is the line of panorama windows running the length of the coach. They flood a finished interior with natural light and offer views no modern RV can match. Paired with the slightly taller ceiling compared to the 4106, the Buffalo feels open in a way few classic buses do. Power usually comes from a GM 8V71 or later 8V92, both tough, proven engines capable of running cross-country long after newer electronics have given up. The styling is unmistakable, that raised deck, the sloping belt line, the proud stance. You can spot a Buffalo from a quarter-mile away. Collectors know it too, which is why values continue to rise. Yet the good news for builders is that base coaches still run in the $12,000 to $20,000 range, depending on condition. For anyone who wants a classic with presence, capability, and a bright future in the collector market, the Buffalo stands tall, a true icon ready for a second life on the open road. These old coaches still have something left to give. Maybe it's the strength in their frames, the sound of a Detroit settling into its rhythm, or the simple comfort of knowing your home is built on machinery that was meant to cross a continent. Whatever the reason, more folks every year are turning to these classic buses, not out of nostalgia alone, but because they're still some of the finest foundations ever made. If you've been thinking about a project, there's no better time than now. The market is ripe, the choices are good, and the best examples are only getting harder to find. So pick the one that speaks to you, and let the road write the next chapter. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your stories below.